All right, welcome back. Well, it's January 1st, which means the rest of the New Year's Six bowl games are slated for today, including Georgia and Texas in the Sugar Bowl. Let's head to New Orleans, where Marvin James has more.
Good, marvelous 2019 sports fans. I am at the Sugar Bowl ready for kickoff with the Georgia Bulldogs and the Texas Longhorns. Now, the last time these two teams hooked up on the field was in 1984 in the Cotton Bowl. So I decided to talk to former Georgia quarterback Johnny Lastinger, who was the quarterback of that Georgia football team, and talk X's and O's about the state of Georgia football.
But you see the play here. I mean, my eyes are, here's your pitch guy. I mean, you know, so.
The last time the Georgia Bulldogs faced the University of Texas on the football field was a game to remember. It was the 1984 Cotton Bowl.
You know, for us, it was a great way to kind of still be involved in the national championship picture because, you know, they were hoping to win a national championship, and had they won that day, they would have.
And he should know, Johnny Lastinger was the starting quarterback for the Bulldogs in the game with undefeated Texas. Georgia was out of title contention, failing to become SEC champs after a tough loss to Auburn. So they were anxious to beat Texas, but it wouldn't be easy.
Gosh, I mean, they had a phenomenal defense. I mean, I think, you know, this was back when the NFL draft and the USFL were still in, and if I'm not mistaken, all 11 guys were drafted either in the NFL or the USFL. So, I mean, that was kind of told you, you know, what you needed to know, how good they were defensively.
It was Lastinger's and his senior class's last game wearing red and black, ending a season where Georgia, for all intended purposes, was the underdog, pun intended, after losing one of the greatest to ever wear the silver breeches in Herschel Walker to the pros.
And I think we kind of used Herschel leaving as kind of a rallying cry to let's prove to the country that we can be just as good. We weren't as good, but we pulled it together and had a great season. I mean, it's almost scary to think what we could have been had we had Herschel that year. But you know, I mean, to me, it said a lot about our senior class.
The Dogs finished 10-1-1 with the number 4 overall ranking in both the AP and coaches poll. 34 years later, after that game in the Lone Star State, Lastinger is now a successful businessman living in his hometown of Valdosta, but still is very much in tune with the atmosphere in Athens and counts this season as a big step forward despite missing the playoffs.
Oh, golly, I think if anybody's disappointed, they need to probably take a step back and think about this deal. You know, we're you know, played for a national championship last year. You know, lost a heartbreaker, you know, in overtime. You know, get a Rose Bowl victory. I mean, you know, and then this was not, you know, the experts said this wasn't Georgia's year. This was the year then they took a step back, you know. Well, if we take a step back, if you call this a step back, it wasn't much of a step back.
Lastinger played in the Sugar Bowl twice and against Texas once, but for him, his excitement is not about nostalgia.
More than anything, I'm going because I'm a Georgia Bulldog fan, and I'm just I'm proud of them, and I want to support them.
And supporting them for hopefully another Georgia win. Now Johnny Lastinger and his son will be here at the game cheering on the Bulldogs.